Annihilation is one of my favorite movies, and it is quite honestly very surprising that I have not yet devoured every single book in the Southern Reaches series. The surreal horror featured both in the movie and books presents us both terror and a certain sense of beauty to me, with a hint of sadness and regret somewhere between those two poles. This type of surreal horror is transformative, the protagonists in these stories slowly removing themselves from an objective reality and getting deeper and deeper into the otherworldly, slowly becoming otherworldly themselves. Horror is generally a tough genre to pull off in a TTRPG. First, you need a table that is all in on being scared and terrified. Everyone needs to be willing to lean into the tropes and, even while being fully aware of how all of it is just pretend, also willing to surrender to feelings of tension, discomfort, and dread. If you have that, you still need a system that empowers you to tell horrifying stories and offers mechanical support for the genre elements you are trying to evoke. Then again, you don't want too many mechanics because then the horror becomes too quantifiable and thus knowable, and that kills the entire mood. The Zone, a game by Raf D'Amico and Laughing Kaiju, succeeds in bringing the mood of surreal horror to life and providing just enough of a framework for gameplay without getting too caught up in nitty-gritty rules. In this GM-less game of collaborative storytelling, you and your fellow players take on the roles of members of an expedition into the Zone, a place where reality bends and the world mutates. All of you know that you will probably not come back, and if you do, it will have changed you. Still, every member of this expedition has their own reasons to enter the Zone, to find its secrets, and to perhaps have it grant them their deepest wish. If you're like me and are looking for a game to tell your own story inspired by Annihilation, The Zone is perfect for you. Let me share my 3 favorite things about this game, in case you need any more convincing to give it a go. TTRPGs often feature struggle. Your character will go through many trials, have their mettle tested, and perhaps even experience loss along the journey. However, at the end of the day, many of the current popular games will see your characters triumph eventually. The Zone is not like that. This is a play-to-lose game, in which the entire purpose of the game is to see your characters experience the surreal, mutating horrors of the Zone, and most of them not making it out alive. Even the sole survivor at the end will be changed, never able to go back to who they were when they entered the Zone. The way the game is set up makes sure that there are no unfortunate random deaths early in the game. Only in the final locations will fate cards decide who dies, and even then, a player can decide to have their character die instead. Still, it means characters will find their end one by one, but the players don't end up just twiddling their thumbs. Due to the way the collaborative storytelling works in the Zone, players continue describing scenes and making choices for the Zone. Even better, the players of the dead characters decide in the end if the surviving character gets their wish fulfilled by the Zone, and if so, under which conditions. Personally, I enjoy play-to-lose games because they are so freeing in a way. I generally like to play my characters like a stolen car, going for dramatic choices and reveling in the consequences of my actions. Since every game of the Zone is just a single session, and you know odds are high your character will die, all safety limits are off. Leaning into the tropes of the genre, like your character getting just too close to that strange egg, or poking the wall made out of human flesh with their bare hands, is more easily done if you know it's the explicit goal of the game. The Zone wants everyone at your table to play their character like this is their last day, because it probably is. The Zone is no traditional TTRPG. Your character does not have a typical character sheet. You basically just pick a name, obsession, phobia, and a reason that they cannot go back to their old life. There are no abilities or skills to pick, and you will not roll a single die. The game's structure is built on scenes played out at different locations your expedition visits. And in these scenes, you and your fellow players will use so-called moves to keep things going. Take stock is a move used to frame the scene. When a player says that they want to take stock, everyone describes a sensory detail for the scene. A smell that lingers, a haunting sound in the distance, or a disturbing sight the expedition beholds. If you need to ramp up the danger, a player can play the something's not right move in response to another player's descriptions. They will then describe how things become more threatening, and yet another player will add on how things are even worse than that. Once tension is built and you need to have characters overcome a challenge, it's time for the not-so-easy move. The player describes what outcome their action was supposed to have, and then draws a not-so-easy card to see if they succeed, fail, or succeed at a cost. These not-so-easy cards will also tell you if a character mutates, the zone leaving a lasting impact on their form and psyche. Simply put, the three core moves build upon each other. To flesh out a new scene, the Take Stock move helps fill out details and gives everyone a good sense of the texture of the scene. Once characters start doing things within the scene, the Something's Not Right move can use the descriptions from the Take Stock move as the foundation of the emerging danger, and then lead into a dramatic, mutating not-so-easy move. This structure also guides you as players as what should be in a scene and when it is time to wrap up. If a scene feels too hazy and unclear, use Take Stock to get everyone's imagination on the same page. Once a not-so-easy card has been resolved, you probably reach the climax of that scene. It's a set of easy-to-understand moves, their mechanics supporting the entire goal and structure of the game. As someone who plays TTRPGs primarily online, good VTT support is extremely important to me. If I cannot play a game in my VTT of choice, chances are I will give it a lower priority and wait until there is a better digital implementation of it. As a Foundry fanboy, what I'm basically saying is if your game has no Foundry support, I will probably play something else. The Zone has no support for any of the big VTTs, but it doesn't need to. It has its own fantastic proprietary virtual tabletop. I don't use the word fantastic lightly when it comes to VTTs, people, but the digital version of the Zone is simply stunning. Not only is the VTT visually appealing with a tight UI, it comes with a ton of functionality beyond just supporting the game rules and giving you a digital table to share with your players. First, the VTT has built-in safety tools. There's the X card, and at the start of the game, all players indicate if they want the game to lean more towards a PG-13 rating or don't mind going into R-rated territory. Second, the VTT comes with a full-blown tutorial. You can play your first game with very clear rules explanations that take you step by step through every phase. Playing my first game of the Zone was such a smooth experience because of this tutorial. Sure, we might have still gotten one thing wrong in regards to mutations, but that was more due to us being too caught up in the horrifying story we were telling. The VTT is also completely free, and getting a game going is super easy. Due to the tutorial mode, it's also accessible to new players. Missing some players for your usual TTRPG night? Create a game on the Zone VTT and invite the people who are available to a tale of surreal horror. Who knows? It might spark some ideas for your regular game. Next to these 3 things I love about The Zone, I do have one word of advice that the game will also give you at the start. Talk with your group about which topics you are comfortable with and avoid the ones some of you do not enjoy. Using safety tools like lines and veils is, in my opinion, essential for every TTRPG, but even more so in one about surreal horror and descriptions of things that some people might find triggering, disturbing, or just really unpleasant. It will only take a few minutes, but we'll make sure everyone will have a good time with a game as great as The Zone. So that's my 3 favorite things about The Zone. If any of these make the game sound great to you, definitely check it out. Links are in the description below. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check out my other stuff. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye!